mean, wait, what's multiverse theory? Because I have my own thing. If I ever wrote a story with time travel involved, of how I would do it.
I've thought about that too, and I would want to implement the same, like, the future never being able to be overwritten, but like in time traveling, the characters would learn more about it and understand it.
Yeah, because I mean, my thing is that if I tried to use time travel, it would be like I don't know what multiverse theory is, but I kind of want to call mine that.
So do you want me to tell you what multiverse theory is?
Sure.
So basically, it's the concept that there's an infinite number of realities where there are infinitely minute differences. Basically, anything can be different anyway. Basically, there would be a universe with such a minute change as being the same as ours. Only you have like one less hair on your head.
I thought you were talking about I thought multiverse theory dealing with time travel was something different.
Well, multiverse theory is factored into time travel. So like when you go back to the past, you're not going back to the past in your timeline. You're going back to the past in another timeline because you changed the future. You're not allowed to change your future. So what you do when you travel back in time is you hop to a different world line, and you carry out the destiny of its future, which happens to be different than yours. But you don't change it; it's still destiny.
I mean, I don't like buying the multiverse theory.
I don't like multiverse theory in time travel.
I don't know the actual scientific background, but I'm just waiting because there's a boss right here.
Well, I think a lot of it is theory.
Because it's like I don't know the scientific reasoning behind it, but it just seems to me like if it seems like it wouldn't make sense that there are universes that are exactly like ours, except we're like a millimeter to the left or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like I think that if there was a multiverse, it would be like if you like when you move over in like the row of universes or whatever, the universal constants are different.
Exactly, like physics would work differently.
Yeah, it's not this one atom is like not in the same position. It's like maybe the gravitational constant is not 6.23 times 10 to the negative 12. It's like 6.
Yeah, and then you get into crazy ideas like maybe the way that universe functions is so different that they don't have to obey the laws of time, dimension, or universes.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's limits to the theory.
I don't know if this is exactly the same, but to make it more interesting, I'm gonna try to explain it while I fight this boss.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. That's it.
I'll rant more about why Kingdom Hearts has good time travel later.
See that? If you saw that, I would be really scared if I saw that in real life.
I'd probably leave. Probably get out of there.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'd do. Doesn't sound friendly.
It's not friendly.
The Boreal Valley.
So my thing with time travel is that I think, I don't know if it's actually true, but that's how I read it in the story. Crap. That time passing is not like, I don't know if this would be like the scientific explanation, but like it's not time passing. It's basically like my analogy is that we have all these different universes on the timeline. So there's an infinite number of universes for each time value on the timeline.
Right, so when you don't advance through time, you continually progress through world lines.
Yeah, so my analogy is that
time is a constant and every universe has a different constant for its time.
What? No.
Like it is always every universe is only representative of an instant.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's like my analogy is that all the universes are ships sailing down a river, and time passing is not time passing; it's the ships moving through the river, and there are markers on the edge of the river that signify like certain events.
That makes sense.
When the boat passes that marker, that's when that thing happens,
and
it always happens on every timeline. So time travel would just be those boats interacting with each other.
Right.
So like whenever I think of stories like Terminator. it's always if what's the guy's name? John Connor.
Yeah.
If John Connor goes back in time, he's abandoning his boat. He's going to a different boat, and he's abandoning the boat that he's in.
Yeah, that has similarities to multiverse theory.
So he's essentially letting one universe's Earth get murdered by a bunch of robots, and he's going to a different one for the possibility of saving it. I don't know
exactly. And you know what's crazy is that Dragon Ball Z addressed that exact thing.
Did it?
Yeah. So let's see. The way that it happened in his timeline. This is Trunks, the son of Vegeta. This guy who used to work for the Red Ribbon Army, which is like I don't know what they are. I didn't watch the first Dragon Ball. Like a military that Goku took down by himself.
Yeah.
And there was this brilliant scientist named Dr. Gero, and what he does is he goes to build 3 androids, and their purpose is just to kill Goku.
Oh.
And he develops a third one, which is not so much a cyborg as biological. The androids are not androids, by the way, they're cyborgs.
Yeah.
It's dumb. And its name is Cell because it takes cells from everybody so that it can take advantage of their DNA and use their abilities because most of them are genetic.
Yeah.
So what happens is that the androids are literally Terminator. They go around killing everything. And Trunks is like, I literally can't do this. So he goes back in time to warn Goku about it because he dies of a heart virus and then everybody just gets wiped out.
Yeah.
And he brings Goku the medicine. So in that timeline that he travels to, which is also in the past, he works with Goku and everybody to kill the androids and kill Cell. And then he returns to his timeline to kill them.
Yeah.
But then Cell kills him and takes his time machine and goes to the timeline that Goku and everybody's in.
Yeah.
And they have to fight Cell too. And Trunks, I guess, comes back from another timeline. And everybody's like, oh, by the way, Cell. Trunks is like, excuse me?
Yeah.
So then, when that Trunks returns back to his timeline, or I guess the Trunks that originally traveled back never died. It was in an alternate timeline. Okay.
Yeah.
So when Trunks returns to his time, he creates 2 realities. One where he isn't killed by Cell, and one where he is killed by Cell. And the Cell from that reality takes the time machine back to the timeline he initially traveled back to.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I haven't been paying attention to what you've been saying.
That's because it's super hard to pay attention to.
I mean, because I think the way that I explain it doesn't really have any paradoxes in it.
No.
Like what the grandfather paradox is like the most common one that people name.
Right.
Right. Because it's like if time travel worked the way that I said it, it's if you left your boat universe to go kill your grandpa in a previous boat, then he
still exists in yours.
Yeah, he still exists in yours, and you're not affecting your own universe. So that's not how that wouldn't affect you, and you just prevent yourself from being born again in the previous in the boat farther back. I'm just gonna call them boats.
Right.
And then like there's another one where it's like you can't have like two objects that are made up of the same atoms coexist because they're the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like because they're in 2 separate places, they would create a paradox.
Right.
But it's not the same thing because it's from a different universe entirely.
Right. It's like a counterpart.
Yeah.
But like, so your idea with like you're abandoning one boat to save another that, in the grand scheme, isn't the one you wanted to save. Before I got caught up in the specifics, what I was saying was, after Trunks goes back to the past and helps everyone kill Cell and the androids, he actually goes back to his time. And he's like, now I have to fight them in my timeline, because killing them in an alternate past doesn't kill them in his present.
Yeah.
So he's aware that Cell kills him in another timeline, and who the androids are. So he's able to just kill them, and then be prepared for Cell to kill him, and he beats them. So after killing them in a different past, he still has to deal with the responsibility of killing them in his present, which he's strong enough to do at that point.
And like, it's not entirely alternate timelines, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if you if you change the past the way that I am saying, then you would affect crap. You would affect the past boat, and different events would happen at different points on the river, right? But I guess pragmatically, crap. There's a giant shooting arrows at me. Like from a what's the word? From a logical perspective, like for all intents and purposes, you can consider them parallel universes running side by side. But in reality, they're just it's like the same river, but they're running one behind the other.
Right.
So that's how alternate timeline works.
That makes sense.
And like, if I wrote a story about it, it would be about him, like a character thinking that time travel works some way, and then they find out that it works one way, and then they have to either like attempt to try to go back to the boat they abandoned and like try to fix their mistake, or just have to go through with like the what's the word? Like it would be about the characterization of somebody having to deal with the grief of knowing that they just left everybody to die.
Right.
Because that's like it would be like a story about Survivor's Guild.
Because if all the boats are moving down the river, then when you leave your timeline, time doesn't pause. You won't come back at the time you left. Time will still pass while you're gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. The thing that is different about Kingdom Hearts, which I think is interesting, is what is this?
It's a giant tree with a ball sack.
Okay. I just started paying attention to the game again. I'm like, excuse me.
No, it's kind of outlandish, especially for this game. Like even for this game.
Oh no, that's nasty.
Crap, I'm gonna die.
The thing that's interesting about Kingdom Hearts is that like, there's not necessarily a kind of destiny or fate. It instead plays with the idea that there is an omnipotent being that saw the future and wrote it all down.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, is there actually destiny, or does this guy just know everything that's going to happen? Oh, that's weird.
I mean, what's the difference?
Well, the thing is, if there is no destiny, everybody has free will, and the future is not written,
Yeah.
and it can still be determined. But,
well, it's like, I think what will happen is going to happen. You can't change that.
yeah, but like...
So it's like, you just don't know, is the thing. You don't know what's going to happen.
The thing is, like, is it is it destined to happen, or is it just going to happen?
Yeah.
There's a very small difference between those that's, like, probably a super long debate. That's why it's so interesting, the notion that in that game, in those games, it's stated that no form of time travel allows you to overwrite destiny. That being said, there is an update coming to the mobile game where a character apparently does just that and defies what's written in that book and sends people from the past into the future.
Oh, nice.
Who were destined to die, which is super, like... It's frustrating because the story's not finished and no one knows how it ends.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting.
Ah, fuck. Probably not gonna kill me, but...
Oh, you're not quite dead. But it's so interesting how it's established that it's not destiny, it's something observed by someone who saw the future.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's just unreliable enough that you can get away with having people, like, fight against it. Is really weird.
Yeah.
It's also a great excuse to bring back dead villains for the final game.
No. What are some other pop culture stories with time travel that you would probably live?